here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, have you watched any of this Merrick Garland hearing? Have you seen any of the clips, any of the sound bites? Yikers. You know, I'm sitting here trying to determine if this guy can do more damage as Attorney General or would he have done more damage as a Supreme Court Justice? And I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, given how the court pretty much lets things slide by nowadays, given the recent decisions to not even care about the lawsuits pertaining to election integrity. Anyway, we'll get into those things and more this morning. Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Todd Huff. You can email me your thoughts, opinions, your feedback, your questions. Yes, I'll even accept that adoration and praise. Todd at toddhuffshow.com is the email address where you can send that information. So I want to start here. There was an exchange yesterday. I saw this in the Post-Millennial here, which is becoming one of my, I don't want to say favorite, but I guess you could say one of my most favorite places to go online for some news and information and so forth. But we have Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland is sitting before a Senate committee going through the process of being, potentially confirmed as the choice for Joe Biden's Attorney General. And it's been nothing short of, I think, a disaster. Some of these things, in fact, Oz commented at the conclusion of the program yesterday, we saw a headline that said something along the lines of Merrick Garland isn't sure, hasn't thought about whether or not crossing the border illegally into this country should be a law. Hadn't really thought about that. You see, you're going to be probably, more than likely here, the Attorney General of the United States in the Joe Biden administration, and he can't figure out the difference or if there should be a law. He hasn't even thought about it. And that says a lot about the Democrat Party, by the way. And I made a comment off the top. I said, I'm not sure if this guy would do more damage as Attorney General or a Supreme Court Justice. If you remember back in 2016, back around this time of year, Justice Antonin Scalia tragically passed away. And, of course, when there's a vacancy on the court, the president is responsible for making a nomination, and the Senate is responsible for giving advice and consent on that pick. They have to approve that pick for the Supreme Court Justice. We've seen this happen recently, most recently with Amy Coney Barrett, before that Brett Kavanaugh, and before that Neil Gorsuch, who was the pick that replaced, if you will, if you want to look at it this way, the Merrick Garland nomination. Now, Merrick Garland, again, if you've listened to this guy at all, first of all, and I want to get to this in a moment, he conflates the issues of equality and equity amongst all people versus equity amongst all people. And I want to break that down. He uses those terms almost interchangeably, and this is what the left does. This is how, over the course of time, this is how you subtly and almost covertly change the opinions of Americans by using these definitions and words in ways that confuse or lull the American public to sleep and into believing things that aren't true. And I want to talk about equality and equity in a minute as we play this Merrick Garland answer, this soundbite. But I want to again, for a moment, just think through, could this guy do more damage as Attorney General or as Supreme Court Justice? So again, he was nominated by Obama in 2016. Obama's term ended, of course, January 20th of 2017 when Trump had the inauguration there, and Trump would say that the biggest inauguration ever, and of course that stirred up some emotions and some feedback and some pictures and some comparisons of crowd sizes and all this sort of stuff between Obama's in 2009 and Trump's in 2017, their inauguration. But Obama had nominated Merrick Garland to fill that seat vacated with the passing of Antonin Scalia, who arguably, boy, we miss Scalia today. I will say that. He would have been standing beside Clarence Thomas, I believe, in his dissent over the Supreme Court decision not to hear the Pennsylvania case. But anyway, I don't want to go down that path. I just want to hit that. And I want to talk about this idea. You know, back at the time, Mitch McConnell said, our job is to give advice and consent to the president. At the time, it was President Obama. Our advice is don't send us this nomination because we will not give consent. That's not how he says it. That's how I say it. And people got upset about this. They said that this was an abdication of duty, abdication of responsibility. This was a violation of, the Constitution and all these sorts of things. But it wasn't. They set a clear timeline, and they said whoever wins the election is going to get to nominate a Supreme Court justice. Now, for those of you that are astute and were following this back all those years ago, you will remember Merrick Garland was presented to us as this moderate. It was almost like they were saying, look, as a compromise so that you will have a hearing on this guy, the Obama administration is not going to nominate someone who's a radical like Sonia Sotomayor or Elena Kagan. We're going to go with someone who's moderate, someone that all people should be able to get behind. Here's a judge who's respected, he's honorable, he's, a moderate, which again, these sorts of descriptions for judges and justices for me is patently absurd. It should not matter. Hear me say this. It should not matter the ideology of a justice of the Supreme Court. It should not matter so long as they follow the law. It really shouldn't matter. Ideology is supposed to be reserved for politics. You have the political fight. The justices and the judges in our court system are supposed to be interpreting the law. That's why Justice Kavanaugh said during his hearing, if you don't make some decisions as a judge that you personally disagree with, you're not doing your job, because your job is to interpret the Constitution and the law, not to insert your own particular beliefs and opinions into a case. That's not your job. That is the job of politicians. That is the job of this political debate and just the exchange of ideas that's supposed to happen in the political sense. But that's not how it works when there's what we would call a liberal justice today. A liberal justice really has come to just mean someone who is willing to make up law on the fly, right? Someone who says, I don't like the way that things are in this particular law. That's why I want to find something hidden in the Constitution, like the right to have an abortion, or like the right to marry someone of the same gender, right? People find these things and find them in the Constitution because the law, in fact, the law many times often prohibits the very action the court seeks to enforce, as was the case with gay marriage, as is the case oftentimes with gay marriage and with abortion. So it's actually used as a tool to overcome the will of the people. So that is what it's come to mean to say a liberal justice. It really isn't so much their ideology. It's just that their ideology is coupled with their belief that judicial activism is okay. In fact, we have some Supreme Court justices, I believe it was Stephen Breyer, who says it's okay to cite foreign law in an opinion. Citing foreign law. You think about that for a moment. A law in, I don't know, the elite, the liberals are going to cite laws from somewhere in Europe because they're so sophisticated and advanced and progressive over there. But the idea that you can cite a law that's not even on the books in this country in your Supreme Court decision, that's why I've said on this program before, we're a half step away of being able to cite Harry Potter novels or what you ate for breakfast that morning. Why not? Right? And so, anyway, that's the lay of the land in the court. And so when Merrick Garland was being nominated, and Mitch McConnell and Republicans stood firmly, and they did not capitulate and agree to have the hearing. They actually followed through, and they said, hey, whoever wins this election, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, is going to get to pick the next Supreme Court justice, basically. That was a big gamble at the time. That's one of the reasons why some conservatives or some folks that held their nose to vote for Trump were able to do so, because they thought this guy's not going to nominate some radical. I mean, if Hillary was going to be president, we were looking at people like Eric Holder as a potential Supreme Court justice, or Susan Rice, people like this, truly radical, almost off the spectrum to the left, radical Supreme Court justice they would have been. And so it was a big bet. Republicans won it, of course, only because Trump colluded with Russia, as they like to tell us, which is the most nonsensical gibberish I've ever heard in my life. I still define any person to tell me how that worked, how a strategy employed by President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin actually worked, to where the last step was, let's let our marketing campaign work. Let's let our ad strategy drive people to vote for you instead of Hillary. That's not how elections are stolen. That's not how elections are. It wouldn't have been a good thing to seek the input of the Russians, to have them interject themselves there. But I tell you what, it's not the same thing as stealing vote totals. And that's usually, for those that are engaged in trying to influence or steal elections, that's the process. You count more votes than your side really got, and you try to suppress the votes of the other side, and you don't count all those. That's usually how voter fraud and influencing elections takes place. But anyway, so all that happened, and as I'm sitting here watching Merrick Garland, and I'm listening to these questions and this exchange and so forth, I'm listening to him, and I find myself wondering, would he have done more harm on the court than he would have as Attorney General? Now, traditionally, I would say yes. Yes, that's the case. But I look at what's happened. Since Trump's been in office, and we have Gorsuch, we have Kavanaugh, and we have Amy Coney Barrett. And I look at these cases that were sitting on the Supreme Court, before the Supreme Court, some of these decisions. And I look up and I see Clarence Thomas, usually, well, I'm now looking at Dr. Fauci wearing 2 masks on the TV back here, which is distracting. But I look here and I see Thomas standing firm for the Constitution and the law. I see, in most cases, Alito, although Alito was absent, Thomas in this particular case. And then I see, you have really 2 principled, constitutionally, based justices on the court. Then you have Gorsuch, Kavanaugh maybe, and we're still trying to figure out Amy Coney Barrett. That's below that. Then you got John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, who is unpredictable, but oftentimes, and more times than I care to admit, finds himself aligning with the radical left and those who are not afraid to do anything in their power, including ignoring the Constitution and federal law, to make sure that they can legislate from the bench. And that would include Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Stephen Breyer. That's oftentimes where John Roberts finds himself. So then you have these, really the swing justices at that point become Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett. And so I find myself wondering, would he have pushed, would he have, where's he going to find himself having more ability to push the radical agenda? I mean, he's going to ignore federal law on immigration. They're going to change and executive order this thing up to where they don't have to effectively comply with reasonable restrictions and immigration law. In fact, I saw the other day that Some are questioning whether Biden's immigration policies effectively eliminate ICE, which is something the radical left, the socialists, have been clamoring for some time because, after all, borders are not fair. Borders are not something that this world needs, say the radical left. And, when you have a country that has so much social welfare as we have, and you have open borders, it doesn't take long or much of a genius to realize that is a problem. That is a massive problem for the economic safety and health of the country. My heart breaks for people that aren't able to come here. But I also understand that opening the border, having social welfare programs that effectively are already bankrupting this nation, and opening that up to millions upon millions of more people is not a sustainable method. It's not going to work. We cannot do that. And that's what we're going to be headed towards. And so in that sense, I find myself wondering if he can do more damage. Of course, someone else would have done the same thing under Biden, but would he do more damage as Attorney General? I don't know. So, but I do want to share some of his soundbite. I want to share one particular soundbite where he had an exchange yesterday with Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, who the left hates, who the left calls an insurrectionist, someone who has effectively tried to cause a civil war. That's basically the narrative against Josh Hawley. Hawley's asking Merrick Garland questions yesterday, and I want to share this exchange and talk about his misunderstanding of the terms equality and equity. I don't even know if it's a misunderstanding. It's a deliberate misrepresentation of what those words mean for political purposes, and we'll do that after the break. Sit tight. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? There is a cure. With the Pro-Life Health Plan, your savings could be as much as 60%. The Pro-Life Health Plan allows you to enjoy the freedom of choosing any doctor, any hospital, anywhere. And their enrollment is open year-round. Just give Eric a call at 888-448-5370 or visit them online at isellhealth.com. Better coverage at a better cost.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
There is plenty to worry about these days. If you're working with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual, your retirement and financial security doesn't need to be one of them. Blake is a time-tested financial advisor with over 20 years of experience at Northwestern Mutual. For an independent review of your financial planning needs, call Blake and mention the Todd Huff Show for a free initial consultation. Call 317-215-8322 or visit blakehornsby.com. Invest in your peace of mind with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, president of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Hey Indy, Sid here with Kill a Dent Removal. We specialize in a paint-free repair process known as PDR. Our certified master technicians remove dents and dings of all shapes and sizes, including hail damage, with 0 body fillers, 0 painting, and 0 diminished value. Most repairs are completed the same day, many even while you wait. Check us out at killadentremoval.com. And remember, folks, don't paint your car, go PDR.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Corin Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corin Homes, family owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
Welcome back. By the way, I know you've heard the ads for our Support Our Advertisers program. That's a newer thing that we're doing. It's kind of a place where you can go and see all of the folks that help make this program possible. And so it's kind of the inverse of the cancel culture, right? People here in today's world, they see someone who's given money to a Trump campaign. Oh, we can't have that. Someone has allowed Josh Hawley to have an event in their offices or their facility or what have you. Can't have that. So people start to boycott those organizations. We actually think we want to work on the opposite perspective. If people can be drawn to not do business with people because they hate them having anything to do whatsoever with the other side, we think it's a more powerful emotion and better to say, hey, how about we just consider those folks who help make the program we have possible? Now, our advertisers, they don't necessarily agree with what I'm saying. I mean, they absolutely should. Let me be clear on that. They absolutely should. But they don't necessarily. Many of them do. Some of them may not. That's between them and whatever. But the point is that we're trying to create this environment where folks can go, and supportouradvertisers.com is where you can go and see a list of folks, and you can continue to see that built out over time. But I want to mention one of those. One of those is one of our newer advertisers. That's Blake Hornsby with Northwestern Mutual. Blake, I've actually known Blake for a long time. Played football with Blake at Butler University. So if you are considering options for things like life insurance or financial planning, what have you, consider Blake. He's in Greenwood. BlakeHornsby.com is the website address where you can go check him out, get to know him a little bit better. BlakeHornsby.com, and be sure to tell them that Todd and the Todd Huff Show sent you. So I want to get here to, and I don't have a lot of time here, this segment, because I was long-winded in that first segment, which can happen from time to time. I want you to listen to this exchange. I'm going to go ahead and cue this up and play this anyway. I think it's about a minute. I'm pausing here because I think I said there were two exchanges that I've had clips for, and I think I said Josh Hawley. I'm wrong. This one is Tom Cotton, and that's why I've been pausing here as I'm looking at this. What am I thinking about here? But this is Tom Cotton. So another senator from Arkansas, Tom Cotton, asking Merrick Garland to articulate some things about equity. And I want to talk about this because I think this is important. I really do. But listen to this exchange between Senator Tom Cotton, not Josh Hawley. That was another exchange about something else that I had a soundbite pulled up here for. But this is Tom Cotton and Merrick Garland going back and forth about equity and equality. Here you go.
Racial equity. Do you agree that a core concept, Judge, of American law is that the government can't discriminate against a citizen on the basis of their race?
Absolutely. Equal justice under the law, written right there on the steps of the pediment above the Supreme Court.
And not only is it unlawful, it's morally wrong as well.
Yes, I think discrimination is morally wrong. Absolutely.
You're aware that President Biden has signed an executive order stating that his administration will affirmatively advance racial equity, not racial equality, but racial equity.
Yes, and I read the opening of that executive order, which defines equity as the fair and impartial treatment of every person without regard to their status, and including the individuals who have been in underserved communities where they were not accorded that before. But I don't see any distinction between in that regard. That's the definition that was included in that executive order that you're talking about.
So to you, racial equity and racial equality are the same thing?
I don't know. This is a word that is defined in the executive order as I just said it. So I don't know what else. I can't give you any more than the way in which the executive order defined the term it was using.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, now that may seem at first glance like somewhat of a benign exchange, but I want to talk about this because this is how this is done. This is how this is done. You conflate definitions of words, you switch them out. Equality is no longer doing what those lovers of big government want it to do. See, used to, you could run elections and say, hey, or you have a campaign and say, hey, vote for me, and I'm going to make everything, make sure that there's equality for all people. That's not cutting it now. In fact, you have a whole movement where people are supposed to denounce their whiteness and all this, ridiculous sort of stuff. I referenced this a couple of, maybe last week. New York City Public School asked parents to reflect on their whiteness and to determine which of the 8 white identities they have on the spectrum. It's patently absurd, but this stuff is getting more and more real. And when you allow words to be switched out and you go from equality to equity, and we're going to talk about this after the break. Even Kamala Harris had something posted on Twitter, which I'm going to share with you as well, explaining the differences and saying that there are important differences between equity and equality. Well, that's true. There are differences. But what they want to do is now say we can make all things equitable. Equality is not enough. So in order, if we had trouble giving government enough power to ensure equality, how much more power are they going to need to get equity? And I'll explain that after the break. But a timeout is in order here. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Enrollment in Todd's Conservative Not Bitter University is now open. For a limited time, save $10 on Todd's first course, A Christian's Guide to Being a Patriot. For more information or to enroll, visit conservativenotbitter.com. Sponsored in part by Workforce Chaplains. Could your business or organization benefit from the services of a professional team of chaplains? Meet the needs of your employees and foster an excellent work environment with Workforce Chaplains. For more information, visit workforcechaplains.com today.
I want to get one more season out of my furnace or air conditioner. Have you or someone you know ever made that statement? Economy heating, air conditioning, and plumbing has heard it a lot. Did you know that furnaces and air conditioners are most likely to break down when they're under stress? That means during the hottest and coldest months of the year, like those months quickly approaching us. With winter on the horizon, now is the time to replace that old rickety unit. With 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $600 in instant rebates, now is the time to buy. Doing great work is Economy's priority, and the satisfaction of their customers is their number one goal, guaranteed. Make your home comfortable this winter. Contact Economy Heating, air conditioning and plumbing today by calling 317-831-5279 or visit them at economyheatingandair.com.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
All right, here we go. $100 now, $200
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Welcome back. So we're talking here about equity and equality, referencing a question and exchange between Senator Tom Cotton. I mistakenly said Josh Hawley. I like to correct myself immediately. So rare to have to do that. Kidding. But so Tom Cotton asks about this executive order that uses the word equity in it instead of equality. Which my first question is, what in the world do people expect a government to be able to do? What in the world do they expect a group of people living in Washington, D.C., who candidly have never really lived in the real world? Many of them are lifetime politicians. Joe Biden has been in Washington, D.C. longer than, what's the median age in America? Oz, look up the median age in the U.S. I'm sure it's so. But Biden's been in D.C. longer than the median age of the average person in this country. In other words, he's been in D.C. longer than the average American person today has been alive. I can almost guarantee you that. I don't know what it is, but it's been half a century. It's been half a century. He's been in D.C. riding that train. Right, 38.3 Oz holds up on the paper. That is the median age of someone living in the United States of America, courtesy, I'm guessing, of Google or something. But 38.3, Biden's been in D.C. for a half a century, almost. So we're looking at least 10 years, or roughly 10 years longer. Biden's been in D.C. 10 years longer than the average person has even been alive. And he's lived in that bubble, and I can tell you from having gone to school out there just for a semester in a semester exchange program, it doesn't take you long. If you've visited Washington, D.C. more than a couple of days, I think you can feel the bubble. It might take a week. I don't know. It might only take a couple days if you're really into, deciphering those sorts of things. But it is a bubble unto itself. It is not reality. Some of the wealthiest counties in the country are outside or the suburbs of D.C. And why is that the case? Because they've taken it from everywhere else. I had a listener who emailed me, Bonnie. We answered addressed quickly some of her questions yesterday, but she was asking, what the Republican Party can do to educate people on where the money really comes from, right? That the taxes come from people. Taxes come from people who work, who produce something, and the government takes a portion of it. Now, you won't find me against all taxes. That's an anarchist or against all taxes. I'm against, enough taxes to operate a government that is working within its constitutional confines, within the restrictions and the layout written in the Constitution, right? That's what I'm for, a limited government. If you don't think that people in D.C. can come up with things to come up with, for the government to do and then charge you for them, that's naive. The government can grow as big as it needs to grow in its mind, and they can find things to do and find ways to not only enrich themselves, but to enrich the surrounding counties of Washington, D.C., because you have to have all the other experts, all the other lobbyists, all these other support systems, private companies or whatever that looks like that work alongside of the federal government, because the federal government doesn't produce a darn thing. It doesn't produce anything. It takes from the producers. In fact, Reagan brilliantly once said that the government's view of the economy can be summed up with these three short phrases. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. And that circle gets a square on that, because that is exactly right. That is how the government works. And they will constantly find more things to do. And now they've moved on, apparently, from just not only ensuring that there will be equality, but now equity. And it's a subtle thing, but I'm going to play this soundbite from Kamala Harris from one of her speeches where she talks about the differences, the important differences between equity and equality. She's arguing that the government should effectively move towards ensuring equity instead of equality. Now, these things are attractive to people when they hear it, especially if you have experienced terrible treatment at the hands of people for whatever reason. But if you were targeted because of your race, that's terrible. That happens still in this country. People have experienced that. It's not systemic. It's not the government being what it once was, which was racist against African Americans by considering them property at one point. We have remedied that. We have fixed that. But there are still consequences of these things. And there's also still racist individuals. But the idea that you can look to government and say, make sure that everybody treats me the right way. I mean, gee whiz, folks, I'm a conservative Christian. Many of you are conservative Christians. People don't always treat me the right way. I can assure you, I am never going to call up my representative and say, make sure someone treats me the right way. That's just not the way that this works. That is a total denial of human nature and a total misunderstanding of the role of government. Now, if someone is harming me, the government can step in and prosecute people, right? I mean, there is a line there where they can step in and do something. But if someone just wants to belittle or to, be hateful, there's not a whole lot that can be done. In fact, we are best suited to either mock these folks back, ignore it, whatever. I choose oftentimes to just ignore it. I get a decent amount of it, but I genuinely don't care. In fact, I find myself saying more times than not, it's their problem. That's not my problem. If you are offended by something I say on here, now I might make a mistake and but the idea that if you're offended by the vast majority of what I say on here, then that's probably the person who's listening's problem, not mine. Because the things we're talking about are so fundamentally, I think, basic and, rooted in just, I think, reality and truth. Doesn't mean that I don't ever make mistakes or say things the wrong way. I get that. But it's not my problem. If someone has those feelings towards you, same sort of thing. And it's not always easy to get there mentally. But I can tell you I feel like by the grace of God I'm currently in that position. Like, I don't care what these haters have to say. Right? I mean, I don't need them. In fact, that's why I connect with you so well, because I appreciate the connection we have and the agreement we have on so many things. But anyway, Kamala Harris, after the break, I'm going to play this soundbite. She's going to talk about the differences between equity and equality. And again, it's not just that the government is when it shifts from equality to equity, it seeks from trying to make sure that people are treated equally to making sure that outcomes are now the same. And you talk about a whole nother ballgame. This is where you start hearing terms like reparations and that sort of thing coming into the mix. Buckle up, by the way, because I've read and heard that that's being kicked around by the administration as well. So timeout is in order here. Come back and continue this conversation. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Stay on top of the nonsense our colleges are subjecting students to today by listening to Todd's monthly interview series with Matt Lamb, assistant editor of The College Fix. Listen at toddhuffshow.com/college. Brought to you by Apprentice University. With so many societal changes, everyone's talking about apprenticeships and college debt. Businesses seek employees with practical problem-solving skills. Visit apprentice.university to learn about our demanding academics and paid apprenticeships in excess of tuition. No debt, in-demand skills, Christian community.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at Zuluscape.com.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Fireplaces can be beautiful and even essential in heating some homes. But did you know they could be dangerous to your family if not properly maintained? Chimneys need to be cleaned and inspected annually. My family and I had Smalling Masonry inspect ours. They are friendly, informative, on time, and helped us use our wood-burning stove more efficiently. Call Christian-owned Smalling Masonry today at 317-903-8121 and mention my name, Todd Huff, for a 15% off chimney inspection and sweep. Welcome back. All right, really quickly, I'm going to play this soundbite from Kamala Harris explaining the differences between equality and equity. And again, we're into this discussion because of Merrick Garland and an executive order and a question that Senator Tom Cotton had asked him, which we played earlier in the program. But these subtle differences make a big, big difference. The government, which hasn't even done, in the minds of the left, has not done anything to really ensure equality. Now they're moving on to equity, which is a much, much bigger thing. Here's Kamala Harris. This is a tweet she sent out on the eve of the election, well, about a week before the election, a few days before the election, explaining the difference between equality and equity, which Merrick Garland didn't seem to understand. But here we go.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests, everyone should get the same amount. The problem with that, not everybody's starting out from the same place. So if we're all getting the same amount, but you started out back there and I started out over here, we could get the same amount, but you're still gonna be that far back behind me. It's about giving people the resources and the support they need so that everyone can be on equal footing and then compete on equal footing. Equitable treatment means we all end up at the same place.
We all end up at the same place. Government, I guess, can make sure that happens. I guess government, according to Kamala Harris, according to the radical left, can make sure that we all end up at the same place. You ever think, who's the person that determines this? Who's the person that determines who starts out with more? And what's that equation even look like? I mean, I can see some bureaucrat now with his iPad, her iPad, coming around, evaluating a circumstance. Okay, this person, his or her family's income was this. This person's is this. But this person is better at speaking. This person's more articulate. This person is of this gender, this race. And I guess there's a formula the government's going to come up with, plug it in, and tell us what's equitable. It is beyond asinine to me to think that this is even something an educated person would really believe is practical. This is something that is designed to be patronizing to a certain group of people that will vote for this because it sounds good. This is nonsensical gibberish is what this is. Gotta take a break. Come back and wrap up. Be back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter. To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Hunting, fishing, bows, guns, ammo, safes, and more.
The Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has all the gear you need for your outdoor experience. We have a huge selection of brands that other shops don't carry, and a friendly, knowledgeable staff ready to answer all your outdoor adventure questions. At Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood, you can even hone your archery skills at our indoor shooting range. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. So get outdoors, but bring the right gear.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in Central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today, providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price. Our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create, on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS, too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable, flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Folks, this is how it is done. This is how, over the course of time, they can get people to subtly change their viewpoint and perspective. They can suddenly get people to change their viewpoint and perspective because no one's going to say they're against equality. Who wouldn't be against equality? And I'm not suggesting anybody should, by the way. I'm just saying now they've switched the definition, or they are in the process of switching the definition to equity. Which, again, how in the world is government going to do this? And I want to paint that picture again of some bureaucrat coming in with an iPad with some formula on it where they plug in variables that they use to determine what is equitable. I mean, do we factor in who's better looking? Do we factor in the height and weight, the physical appearance of people? Where does this stop? Where does this stop? The brand of clothes they wear? The types of friends they have? How do we do this? Government's on it, though, folks. Kamala Harris, Merrick, Garland, Joe Biden, they'll have this problem fixed in no time at all. I got to go. Thanks for listening. SDGC tomorrow. Take care.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Hi, this is Kenton with Christian Community Connect. We're a network of business professionals that are committed to living out our faith in the marketplace by preferring one another in love while serving everyone. With online listings at $27 per month, if you're a Christian in business, committed to treating others as you would want to be treated, we would love to include you. Check our reviews and sign up at ChristianCommunityConnect.com.
Family owned since 1973, Edwards Equipment at 1375 East Main Street in Danville is ready to meet your equipment needs by selling, renting, and servicing several makes and models of lightweight residential or heavy-duty commercial equipment. We carry and service top-name brands like Ferris, Kubota, Steel, Gravely, Honda Power, Land Pride, and more. Visit edwardstractor.com or call 317-745-6427 to check out our clearance specials today. At Edwards Equipment, we don't just sell you any piece of equipment, we sell you the right piece of equipment.